Hey, welcome back to Devereux Discusses for the second time now. I want to thank you guys for all the support that came from the first video. I had a lot of people reach out to me telling me that they wanted to see more, and that really helps me be encouraged to make more. I had a lot of fun making the last video, and I think at the time of recording this, it just passed 500 views, which is insane. If I can reach even a fraction of that, then I've met my goal, which is really just to start a conversation and to make people think about the choices they make and the way that they live their life. I think right now we have about 57 subscribers, so there's going to be a lot more of this content coming. If you want to get notified, then become a subscriber. Last week we talked about the effect that you have on other people and how other people see you. And this week I want to talk about something a little bit different, is how you see yourself. And this is a very interesting topic because people fall into a lot of different categories. And there's not really a correct way for you to look at yourself in comparison to others. There are some people that really don't love themselves, don't see themselves for who they are, and feel like they're not enough. And then there are people on the opposite end who think they're better than everyone. They're that border on narcissism and just being super egotistical. And both sides of the spectrum are problems. So it's important to find a balance between loving yourself while not hating on others. And it is a very interesting issue because it's different for everybody. Because everybody leads a different life. Because everybody's a different person. So I guess my first question today would be, do you love yourself? And for those of you that answered yes, that's great. That's great that you've been able to realize how important you are, to yourself at least, and to those that you have an effect on, and to recognize your accomplishments and what you've done, and good job. You figured things out. Let's go. But I think, especially in high school and in the teenage years, there's a lot of people nowadays who would answer no to that question. A lot of rise in depression and anxiety and people thinking that they're not enough, which is a big problem. And to those people, there's a lot of causes of that. And obviously, it's not something that you can just snap and solve. And even after listening to this video, I can help you think about it, but that's something that you really need to figure out for yourself. But nonetheless, I really want to talk about it. And hopefully you want to listen. So there are a lot of reasons that somebody might not love themselves, or somebody might not see themselves for the good they are and rather focus on the bad. Now, we've all made too many mistakes. We've all done horrible things. And it's good. You need to admit it. You need to admit that you've done bad things. But you also need to realize that you've done great things. That you had accomplishments. Now, maybe you might compare them to other people's accomplishments and say, oh, they're not as good. But for you, they're great. And I think that's one of the biggest problems, is comparing yourself to other people. So I'd like to talk about that first. Say you really wanted to pass a class, pass a test, stay up all night studying, and you got a B. And then you look over and the person next to you got an A, and you might be like, why couldn't that have been me? Maybe you won a track meet, and you're thinking, oh yeah, that was really epic. But then next week you lose and you see the winner and you're like, why couldn't that have been me? Why couldn't I be Usain Bolt? Why you can't just ask why there are people that are better, because everybody lives under different circumstances. And if you lead a life of comparing yourself to people that you see as better than you, then that's not going to get you anywhere. And the same goes for people on the other side saying, Haha, you got a B. Haha, I beat you in this track meet. You're not going to get anywhere from comparing those that you would see as worse than you either. So, I guess another big problem with this is social media. Feels like sometimes the entire purpose of some social media accounts are, I have more money than you, I lead better life than you, I buy nice things, I get to do all these cool things that you don't. And we've almost developed a culture around that, around just looking at where we wish we could be. And that's just so negative. And you need to realize that it's negative. Because you have the biggest effect on whether or not that matters. Now, if you let it matter, if you're in the boat that I don't love myself because I'm not as good as the people I see around me, that does not have to matter. The people around you should not matter to your internalized happiness. But if you let those people matter, if you decide, I'm not as good as them, so therefore I'm not important, then that's not good. The good news is you have the decision to make. You can realize for yourself that everybody is leading a different life. Everybody has different circumstances. And your small victories, small accomplishments, can turn into massive accomplishments. You can see them as times that you worked really hard and accomplished something that you wanted to. I would think somebody that worked really, really hard for a smaller accomplishment is more important than somebody that didn't have to work at all for a bigger accomplishment. I would say the real bigger accomplishment is the person that worked hard. And the person that maybe has to put in more to get what they want. And that can be hard to accept. It can be hard to accept that it's easier for some people to do the things that you'd want to do. But you know that you probably grew more to get what you got than they did to get what they got. You learned more, you became stronger to be in the position that you're in. So, another thing is, we talked about last week about making sure that you have a positive effect on the people that you surround yourself with, your close circle of friends. If you can do what you can to make their day better, then it's an amazing feeling. But what's important to talk about in how you see yourself is the people that you choose to surround yourself with. Are they having a positive effect on you? Do you enjoy hanging out with them? Do you feel better about yourself when hanging out with them? Unfortunately, there's a lot of negative friendships. There's a lot of negativity. And it's important that you need to realize that negativity. And if you're in a bad relationship, to identify it and try to get out of it. Because not all relationships are healthy relationships. And if this person is making you feel like less important, then you need to get away from them. You need to realize that you are who you are. And if they don't like that, then they don't have a spot in your mind. You can't let them live in your head. So it's important to make sure you're surrounding yourself with the right type of people. Now, let's go back to the other side. Now, I feel like I live in a pretty good community. I haven't met a whole lot of people who I would describe as narcissists. But there are a lot of narcissists out there. People that think that they're godly. People that think that they deserve more than they're getting. People that, deserve more than they actually deserve. People that think they're better than everyone else around them. And to those people, I say again, everybody leads different lives. You can't compare certain aspects of your life to another person's life with ignoring all the other aspects. Everybody was raised differently. Everybody has a different family life. Everybody has different thoughts and makes different actions. And those all accumulate into what you show the world. And if you only compare what you're showing the world instead of everything else that built up to that, then that's not a fair comparison at all. So why would you even look at the difference between these two things, these two people, if you know that they were caused by completely different things? By completely different families, by completely different childhoods. I don't see the purpose. So my main messages is don't compare yourself to other people. Realize the accomplishments that you've made and every single small battle that you've had to fight, and recognize it as a big accomplishment, as something that you did for yourself and succeeded. And then surround yourself with the right type of people as well. People that can help you see those things and help you feel good about yourself. But in the end, it's really up to you. You're the one that has to be responsible for your own happiness. If you rely on other people to make you feel good about yourself, then you're never really going to feel good about yourself. You need to be the one that realizes how important you are. You have a role in this community, so you are important. You interact with so many people every single day. Well, maybe not now, but in a normal life scenario, you will be you are a part of something. You're a living human being. You're a part of a community, of a population, and you will have an effect on the other people, just like we talked about last week. So you are important. You are important to that community, and you're important to that group of people. And you need to realize that people care about you. But overall, you need to care about yourself. And like I said, there's a lot more about this to talk, but I don't want to take too much of your guys' time. Yeah. It's hard to learn to love yourself. It's very difficult. It's hard to stop bottling things up, and it's hard to be real with your emotions, but it's a step that everybody needs to take at some point or another. And yeah, there's so many different categories of people, so it's hard to put into one message, because everybody benefits from hearing a different thing, from hearing a different perspective. And I know this was a little bit different than last week, but I guess that was only a few days ago. Wow. I hope you guys like this style of video. Actual podcast coming soon, so be prepared. That's in the works. And I have lots of fun making these, just talking to you guys. So thanks for tuning in. I don't think I'm missing anything. No, yeah. Okay. Have a good rest of your day. Hope I gave you something to think about.